Good morning. I don't really know, and you know, I'm doing the film you saw yesterday and the one we're talking about today. I don't think about, you know, the other characters that I've played. To me, they each feel so singular because I get to know them so well. The only thing that I can think is that maybe, you know, I like characters who have some sort of conflict or feel like, you know, there's just more than one thing going on, because that's just fun to sort of figure out and sink your teeth into somebody who's struggling. That's just gives me a lot to explore. So beyond that, you know, I don't know why I would gravitate towards something like that, or why somebody would ask me to do that.
And well, I think as an actor, Paul is capable of doing almost anything. So it was a pleasure to get to write for him and imagine him in this role. But I think the thing that inspired me most about Paul in the writing process was something for which he is not known as well, which is that I think he's a very funny actor and funny person, and he has sort of a physical adeptness that allows him to play physical humor. One person we referenced was Jacques Tati, so it was fun for me to get to imagine people seeing him in a new light as well. One thing people have asked me about this movie is, you know, are these all different Rubies? Are they all different sort of versions of the same person? And for me, it's more about how every person has a multiplicity of selves, that there are so many different parts of ourselves that we can choose to lead with or have dormant. And for me as an actor, I always feel like I'm just pulling out different strands that I might not get to use in my normal life. I know when Paul was making For Ellen, I felt a change in him, in his personality, but I think sometimes it has more to do with allowing sort of the monsters out of the basement or something than transforming entirely yourself.
Then yes. Yeah, and that's probably the most fun thing about it, and sort of the scariest thing about it, and maybe the most dangerous thing about it at times. And I think that's, you know, sort of the goal, and what part of what keeps you going is to keep digging up new parts of yourself, and letting them exist. And frankly, it's pretty nice to have that outlet, and I enjoy it.
Yes, very much so. My experience as a writer has much more been that of listening and perceiving the character, like what the character wants or what they're doing, sort of like letting them lead, like in a dance, letting them be the partner who leads. And then later trying to make sense of what I've written and get it under control a little. But I was also trying to write about how in love, how futile it is to try to control the other person or define the other person, that people are infinitely unknowable and changeable, and to try to put someone in a box or label them is ultimately futile. And in Valerie, the directors chose the songs, so it was this sort of happy accident, but one that I feel like is in tune with the rest of the spirit of the movie.
Okay. Yeah, I think I daydream. I think daydreaming is probably the bulk of my work. I think that's like the number one thing that I do in thinking about a character or a film. And even when I don't have something directly to work on, I just feel like that's a really great place where your imagination sort of goes somewhere without you being in control of it, and that's really helpful.
I'm in total agreement with Paul about daydreaming, and I am a believer in psychoanalysis. My father told me when I was 18 that every artist should be in psychoanalysis, so I don't know, maybe that's just my messed up family, but